Welcome back to another segment of Learning with Lindsey, where we talk to our very own meteorologist, Lindsey Gaffney, about the science behind the weather in our area. Lindsey, you know, this past weekend we experienced some pretty big hail risks. So that's what we're talking about today. We're talking about the hail. So what the hail is going on with all this stuff?
Well, we had elevated storms on Saturday, which means that they're further off of the surface. So you can see, I don't know if you can see if it's cut off, but the surface at the bottom. So these storms kind of start a little bit higher in the atmosphere, which means you don't get a lot of rotation towards the surface. So tornado threat's very limited, which is what we saw yesterday. But that means that our freezing level is a little bit lower in the cloud, so gives the hail a lot more time to grow. So what happens is we have our warm updraft, so we have all that air pushing up, and it does cause an overshooting top, and it also causes the raindrops in the bottom of the cloud to also be pushed up above the freezing level in the atmosphere and turns into hail. Now what happens is it'll drop again and then be pushed back up by the warm draft. So you get a lot of turbulent air, it crashes with other smaller hailstones to create larger hailstones. It also gets kind of re-soaked in the rain at the bottom of the cloud and then pushed back up to freeze again. So what happens is if the updraft is strong enough, which we can tell by lapse rates, which is how quickly a parcel of air moves up in the atmosphere, then if it's strong enough, it holds the hail up in the top of the cloud long enough to grow to pretty decent size. So I know we had quarter-size hail reports, and we also had the potential for golf ball sized hail. And actually this is a better shot of what a cloud will look like. There's your overshooting top, and that's where the hail gets formed. It gets pushed way up to the top of that, and at some point it gets heavy, too heavy for the updraft, and it'll fall to the surface. So it doesn't really matter if the surface temperatures are too warm, but that's why we had such a strong updraft, but too far off the surface to cause tornadoes. So it caused the pretty large hail risk that we saw yesterday with the potential for golf ball sized hail.
So the stronger that updraft, you could have bigger sized hail.
Yes, and typically if it's a lower cloud base, which means it's not an elevated storm, if you have a strong updraft, then you're gonna have a strong downdraft, and typically that'll cause rotating rotating funnel causes a tornado.
All right, thanks Lindsey. That's another segment of that.